There is so much to talk about when it comes to LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith that this topic will continue to live for years and years and years because it's a big moment. It's a big moment for the NBA and it's a big moment for media. You can say what you want. You can say you hate it. You're tired of talking about it, but it's so symbolic of where we are headed today. Think about it. Everybody that has their own platform, athletes that have their own platform, celebrities that have their own platform, media members who have their own platforms. Everybody has a voice. I get it. But you still owe it to your profession, whether it be sports, whether it be entertainment, whether it be media, to be a professional. Now, I'm not going to say one's more right than the other or one's more wrong than the other here. Okay. But this all starts because, again, LeBron James decides to take a moment that I personally, just my opinion, just like many others, that could have been done in a different place. Just like Stephen A said, whether you agree with it or not, he didn't have to do it during a basketball game with all the cameras. He just didn't have to do it. There's so many ways. Listen, he could get to Stephen A if he wants to. He could talk to him if he wants to. He wanted to make a spectacle out of it. I'm sorry, he did. And that's exactly what LeBron has done over the years. Continues to be that way. Say what you want. To think that Stephen A is not going to bank off of this either is being ridiculous, right? Just think about it. This is all calculated. However, the message is not. The message is not. I'm sorry, but from somebody who's coached for so many years and somebody who has coached his own kids and has dealt with the term daddy ball, it's something that we're not talking about here. Listen, we could get into it all day about was Stephen A right the way he, came back on the cameras? Was LeBron right for the way he did what he did on the Pat McAfee show? We could talk about it all day long, but the simple fact remains is the issue. The issue of Stephen A talking about Bronny, what he's supposed to do, and LeBron being a father who is protecting his son. However, LeBron should know. LeBron should know that Bronny has to take care of himself. Listen, at the end of the day, I know LeBron's not the coach, but that was one of the hardest things that I had to deal with as a coach for my kids was, yes, you always want to protect. That's your family. I get it. Nobody is discounting that you're going to take care of your family. I completely understand. All the other stuff is noise. However, when you are LeBron James, when you are in the NBA, when you are the top player in the NBA, as a talent, as a personality, as an ambassador, you have to understand. And I know he understood. But again, at the same time, I think Stephen A is right with saying, look, we were force-fed Bronny James. You did do what you wanted to do in order to get him in the NBA. You did make some of those statements. And I agree with Stephen A. Like, I do think that Bronny's going to be a good NBA player. He just needs to develop just like a lot of guys. We all know that, right? So the G League is where you develop. It's very simple, right? Very, very simple. But to come after Stephen A and to come after any reporter to protect your son from criticism, and that's what he did. Protect it. You could say, stop with thinking this is a family issue. It's not a family issue. Stephen A was criticizing the player. And again, this is all my opinion. He was criticizing the player. And LeBron took personal feelings towards it, right? Just like any of us would. I get it. Right? I understand it. You think as a coach, my kid wasn't the best player on the field, but he was good. She wasn't the superstar, but she was good, right? At the end of the day, though, when somebody was talking about them, whether it be a coach, a parent, yes, you get all up in your feelings, man. You want to stand on it. You do. I get it. But come on, man. You're LeBron James, right? He's in the same league as you. You have to allow that to happen. And if you have a problem with what he said, there's no reason to take care of it the way you did. It's simple. Now, I do feel that Stephen A was right in the fact that he had to address it. He is the king of media right now in the sports realm. Just signed a huge deal with ESPN. There's a reason why. All the people's like, oh, he didn't have. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It's his job. It's his job. But what ensued after that from both of these guys, that's where it needed to stop. Right? This is a very simple issue to me. Very, very simple. But the problem is, this is going to be the example because this is going to continue to happen. Not because you're going to have a father and son combination in the NBA or Major League Baseball or anything like that, but you're going to have to continue to understand that as these athletes elevate their game when it comes to the media platform and media members continue to elevate their game for the credentialed athletes that or the credentialed outlets that they belong to, these stories are going to get bigger. And if this doesn't, come to some kind of understanding, this could be a big problem going forward. So, in closing, all I'm going to say is I personally, my opinion, simply my opinion, I feel that LeBron was wrong. He was wrong with the way he confronted it. And I think Stephen A was right with the way he was able to fire back the first time. Just my opinion, because a lot of that stuff that he did say about LeBron being force fed or force feeding the NBA, force feeding the media, trying to be the guy who says, this is the way I want you to talk about our league. I want you to draft Bronny. I say Bronny is better than most of these people in the, that are being drafted in the NBA. Like, he put a big X on his back. And let's get this. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. The unfortunate recipient of all this is Bronny James. It sucks. Like, you already came into the league with an X on your back. You already are, perceived to be great, right? Like, because your dad is LeBron James. But then he puts this added pressure on you indirectly by some of his comments in the media. And now this breaks out. What do you think, Bronny? Like, that's the one person we haven't talked to. And I'm glad because, listen, this is going to have to absolutely suck for Bronny James, man. Like, Bronny James didn't come out and ask for any of this. Bronny James has not said anything when it comes to Stephen A. or LeBron or his role on a team. Like, yeah, he's a young player. He may spot off here and there. But at the same time, man, he is the unfortunate indirect recipient of all this stuff that's going on. So, listen, man, I just hope the kid continues to get better and this doesn't mess with his mind. But at the end of the day, LeBron, in my opinion, as a father, I understand what he was doing, but he did it in the wrong context based on the stature that he's in. And Stephen A had all right to defend himself. But after that, it should have ended for both parties. So we'll see what happens. Again, king of basketball versus king of media. We're going to see where it goes. Tony Cotillo here for the TC show. Spitting fire right here when it comes to the NBA.